Right, Chelsea beat Servette in an instant European classic. No, I'm joking. It's hardly going to go down in the history books, that game, is it? But I am very happy that we did manage to get over the line with a 2-0 win at Stamford Bridge. Back at Stamford Bridge under the lights with European football for the first time in a good couple of seasons now. And I thought the atmosphere from what I was watching seemed a little bit better as well. I will speak about the key moments of the match, but probably right that I do so straight away, hold my hands up and admit that I underestimated Servette. Servette are a pretty decent side. Like, where would they finish if they were in the Premier League? Are they better than an Ipswich? Are they better than a Southampton? I think they probably are. I think I underestimated them, and especially in wide positions and areas, they did pose us some threats, and I'm very, very happy that we managed to come away with the 2-goal margin rather than what it looked like it was going to end up being, I should say, a 1-0 win, because going back to Switzerland next week, I don't think will be an easy match at all. Let's speak about the game. But people, before we get into all that, welcome back to the Joey Knight podcast. If you are new around here, if you like the content and you want to see more from myself, please hit the subscribe button. Please hit the like button this second right now. It really, really helps me out, and I know you lot love to help me out. Let's get into the team sheet. Yep, so this was the team that we saw Enzo Maresca go with. Obviously, Jorgenson in goal. Disasi, interesting. He's been linked with Newcastle. He's been linked with a move away, and apparently there are Italian clubs also interested in him, but he did run out today. He did have a showing. Tosin Adarabioyo, obviously in my match preview, I was under the impression that Tosin wouldn't be playing, and it was a real head scratcher for me because I've always rated Tosin. I think he's actually very good, and I think that he's better than the free transfer would maybe suggest sometimes, but that was apparently an admin error. So don't blame me, blame the Chelsea admin team. Either way, he was in the squad. He did start the match and he had a good showing. We'll speak about him. Benoit Badiashile, sort of the left centre-back out of that three. And the reason you've seen me go with the graphic in the way that I have, because although the team sheet suggested it was a 4 at the back, it very much wasn't. We saw Renato Vega play the inverted left-back role. He was sort of at the base of midfield, sometimes switching up with Caicedo, but for the most part, he was the most central man in there. Obviously, Caicedo to one side, Kiernan Dewsbury Hall, we speak about his contribution in a minute. He was on the left-hand side, and then Nkunku was the man pushed furthest forward, playing off the back of Mark Gu, who had Pedro Neto and Mykhailo Mudryk either side of him. And I've just got to be honest with you lot here, I actually only started watching the game when it was about 8 minutes in, not because I didn't want to watch the game from the start, but I was under the impression that the game was on TNT, and I was looking on TNT and I couldn't find it anywhere. So then I'm trying to find a stream like everyone does, couldn't find it anywhere. Text the big dog, Josh Aveste. Josh, where can I watch the game? On the Chelsea app, he told me. So I had to download it and I had to pay a $5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my bank details in the description to this video. If anyone can just transfer me that $5, because listen, I'm living paycheck to paycheck at the minute. No, listen, I started watching about 8 minutes in. The commentary suggested that Mark Gu had a good chance early on. Can't comment on it. I didn't see it. Don't shoot me, people. I'm just being honest. Some people would lie and say they did watch it from the start. But the first 10 minutes or so, or probably leading up to about the 20-minute mark in the game, the first 10 minutes or so that I watched, I can't say I was very impressed, I was pretty underwhelmed. And obviously, as I say, Servette looking a lot more dangerous than I had given them credit for maybe being able to be, and mustering up a couple of saves from Jorgenson in goal. Now, 27th minute, Mykhailo Mudryk, the man that had a sort of mixed bag of a game, and we will speak about his individual performance, he wriggles out of a bit of space over on that left-hand side. He lays the ball off to Mark Gu, and Mark Gu, what a brilliant bit of skill in the way that he then lays that ball off to Mykhailo Mudryk. We all know it was on purpose. It was definitely on purpose, wasn't it? He sort of scuffs it up, really, gets the ball caught between his feet, but actually the way it sort of plays pinball in his feet and in the back of the defender's feet, it ends up being taken off him by Mudryk. Really, really good opportunity. Mudryk, who apparently is the fastest thing since fast was invented. He's got one man that he doesn't even need to beat. He just needs to sort of run past him. And he's also got Nkunku to the other side of him. And in my opinion, he does shit the bed a little bit. And he takes the shot on way too early. He actually had time to probably run through, to pass it across to Nkunku, or just to be able to have a little bit more composure before he takes the shot. He takes it on early, and obviously the shot leaves a lot to the imagination, scuffing it sort of wide of the post. But the warning signs are there. The warning signs are there that Chelsea are going to be able to have opportunities. They were making opportunities come this point. Oh, just quickly, while I've got you here, I need to ask you a question, by the way. You know the razor that you shave your beard with? You don't shave downstairs with that same razor, do you? You do, don't you, you filthy animal? Nah, joking, we all do it. But guess what, lads? The good news is here, because thanks to our friends at Manscaped, that is now a thing of the past, because they have come up with the ultimate package to keep both your beard and your balls in check without getting any wires, or should I say hairs, crossed. Let me introduce to you the Beard and Balls Bundle, which features the Lawnmower 5.0 and the Beard Hedger. And before we dive deep into this bundle and the benefits that it can give you and some of your acquaintances, let's say, let me just tell you now, because I can tell you're already sold, if you click the link in my description or visit the Manscaped website, put in Joey Knight. That will get you 20% off and free shipping on your order. Starting off, we have the Lawnmower 5.0, and this bad boy is your new best friend. You can say goodbye to hours spent shaving, because this trimmer gets it right the first time, cutting through the bushes as simple as possible. It's got 2 interchangeable blade heads that will give you both a precise and smooth finish, and if that weren't enough, it is waterproof, meaning it is time to start shaving while we're bathing. Then you got the Beard Hedger, which is the exact tool that I use to keep this little goatee that I know you lot are very, very fond of looking as good as it does. It's got a titanium coated steel T-blade with 20 length options, meaning you're the boss. Style it how you want, and while we're at it, take as long as you want, because this bad boy has 60 minutes of runtime with an LED charge indicator, so you will never be caught with a dead battery. So there you go. And don't say that I never treat you. Hit the link in the description now, or visit manscaped.com, and when you purchase your order, put in Joey Knight for 20% off and free shipping. Thank you very much to Manscaped. Let's get back into it. A few minutes later, we break on Servette, who once again are caught sort of in the middle, possession. Nkunku breaks on them, and he feeds Mykhailo Mudryk unselfishly, because Nkunku was actually fuming when Mudryk didn't feed him before. And then Mykhailo Mudryk takes a little bit too long on it, but he does manage to square the ball across to Pedro Neto, who also manages to get a shot on target. Pretty routine save for the Servette goalkeeper. And then for the rest of the first half, I've got to be honest, not much action really, or at least not much action in terms of Chelsea. Servette were threatening, and I tell you what, they were having a lot of they were just creating us a lot of trouble down that right-hand side. So obviously our left centre-back, Benoit Badiashile, was struggling against the Servette right winger. Forgot his name now, but he was very good. They had some good players, Servette. They really are decent little team, you know. You remember when obviously in the Champions League, this was when we played Genk, and then we ended up going and buying Kevin De Bruyne. Could be a similar situation here. Not sure who I'd go for out of that Servette team, but a few of them were half decent. And you know what we do? Chelsea Football Club. If we play someone and they play anything above what a match rating, like a 6 out of 10, we go and buy them. And we're pretty splash 80 odd million on them as well. So, you know, lap it up, non-Chelsea fans. Listen, I do think that over on that sort of left-hand side, Benoit Badiashile lost his man a few times, but Renato Vega was obviously the man that was tasked with inverting back there, and a couple of times he did do well in doing that. And at half time we saw some of the big boys warming up, didn't we? You know, Enzo Fernandez, Cole Palmer, Cucurella, and I thought that maybe Enzo Maresca had seen enough of the starting 11 that he fielded in that first half, and he thought, you know what, this isn't working, because ultimately, as much as we were creating chances, I think the stats would probably show, I haven't looked at them, that Servette were creating just as many chances as us, and although we might have had a bit more possession, what's it mean if you're not having shots on target and shots on goal? And Servette were doing just as much as us in that stage. But what Enzo Maresca did at halftime was he held his nerve and he didn't make any immediate substitutes come the break, and he was right to do so, because about 48 minutes on the clock, Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall shows the assisting ability that saw him record such impressive numbers last season at Leicester when he threads a ball through to Nkunku. Nkunku is able to quickly run onto it, takes the touch round the keeper, who is already diving out at Nkunku's feet, brings him down. I think Nkunku knows what he's doing in that situation to be able to win the penalty, and I think it's a skill in modern day football to be able to win it, so I'm not going to complain at all. Was it a legit penalty? 100% it was, but was the keeper naive to dive at Nkunku's feet? Definitely, because Nkunku will win those sort of penalties all day long, and he will score those sort of penalties all day long. He took it from the spot. Cole Palmer wasn't on the field. When he's not there, Nkunku needs to take them. Keeper even guesses the right way, but Christopher Nkunku's shot had way too much power on it, and he does manage to beat the goalkeeper and put Chelsea 1-0 up. Now, moments later, I can't let this one go without speaking about it. We saw one of the misses of the season, didn't we? We saw one of the worst misses you will see from any player in a Chelsea shirt. Well, I don't know about that. Hopefully the worst miss, we'll see. Nicholas Jackson's on the bench thinking, hold my beer, Mark Yu. You watch what I can do now, joking. Love Jackson. But yeah, Mark Yu, right? I've sung from the rooftops, haven't I, about his pressing ability and the ability he has to really, really put the defence and the goalkeeper of the opposition team under severe pressure. And he does so again. And when the Servette goalkeeper tries to clear that ball out, Mark Yu ends up blocking the ball. It breaks nicely for him. He's through. There's an open goal. I'm sure the screenshots will be all over Instagram. Look at this opportunity that Mark Yu missed. That's the voice that people in Instagram talk like that. I don't know why I put that voice on. But either way, he misses pretty much an open goal, to be honest. All he needs to do is just blast it with his right foot, and he tries to sort of place it in. Keeper saves it. He then has a couple more attempts at it, still doesn't manage to get it in. I feel really sorry for Mark Yu. Hopefully he is a glass half full man. See this? Half full bottle. That is, it's not half empty, it's half full. Hopefully that is Mark Yu's mentality, and he looks fondly back upon the fact that he was able to win the ball in that moment, rather than the fact that he absolutely made a howler with finishing it off. And I hope it doesn't knock his confidence at all, because that was actually his last contribution before coming off. And at the time, I'm thinking, listen, we needed that goal, man, because these lot have shown themselves to be decent, and I don't really want to be going back to Switzerland with just a 1-0 lead. So, as I say, hopefully it doesn't knock his confidence, because he was substituted off straight away after that, more or less. Triple substitution, Madueke, Enzo Fernandez, and Cole Palmer all coming onto the field. And at that point, I'm thinking, okay, we got some legit first-team starters on the field here. Boys that we know week in, week out would probably be on the team sheet, barring, maybe, Noni Madueke, who we've heard about a move for. I don't want to see him go at all. However, Noni Madueke is a very, very important player for Chelsea Football Club, I believe, and I think in these European competitions, you're going to see the best of him, and you did see a glimpse of the best of him tonight. I actually felt, not like I want to be a smart ass here, but I actually felt like Madueke would be the one that would have the best chance at making a significant contribution when he came onto the field, because they were playing Cole Palmer in the false nine. And as much as it's important to get a player like Cole Palmer on the field whenever you can, because of the quality that the boy possesses, I don't think he's best served in the false nine. I think he's a more creative player. And if you look at, obviously, a lot of people will call him a penalty merchant and whatnot. Those people are idiots. But if you look at some of his goals, a lot of them come from outside the box and things like that. So I think he's better, a little bit deeper, and especially the fact that Nkunku came off in that moment. I think we could have seen him a little bit deeper, but then it asked the question, who's going to play in the number 9 when you look at the options that were brought on. And obviously, Mudryk, was left on the pitch. That surprised me a little bit as well. But it was the two substitutes that ended up combining. Enzo Fernandez, who's now on the right-hand side of that sort of midfield three, he sees Madueke running towards goal, 75 minutes on the clock here. Madueke darts past the fullback. Enzo Fernandez finds him, and Madueke does what I want players to do in that situation, and that's not try and cut it back. That is not try and be tricky and technical and techie. That is roof it, lash it into the top of the net. That's what Madueke done. He opens his account for the season, puts Chelsea 2-0 up in that moment, and very, very much eases some of the concerns that I may have had over next Thursday night. I think it's next Thursday, isn't it? When we go to Switzerland to face Servette, because a 1-0 lead against that team when they're in their home stadium playing in what? Probably their biggest match in terms of level of opposition, history of opposition, and name of opposition in a long, long time. I think it could have been a tricky assignment. I still think it could be a tricky assignment, but at the same time, I think with 2-0 lead, we'd be all right. 85th minute, they did have a real chance and give us a real scare. Wataru, I think it was their winger, I believe. He got a deflected effort that bounced off the crossbar in the end. And then actually, pretty much all Servette for the last 10 minutes or so, because I think there's about 6 minutes added on in extra time, and there were some decent chances, one of which Jorgenson made a really, really good save for. And let's speak about Jorgenson, because that was the final whistle, and that was all that happened in the actual match. But general thoughts after the game is that Jorgenson has showed there against Servette. I get it, there will be tougher tests to come starting this weekend with Wolverhampton Wanderers, but Jorgenson has showed there for me why, if it's a conversation of Jorgenson or Sanchez rather than Jorgenson, Sanchez, Petrovic, it needs to be Jorgenson. I thought he was very, very good today with both his hands, and more importantly, he was very good with his feet. When we're talking about this ball-playing goalkeeper, we didn't see those horrible moments from him that we often see from Robert Sanchez, but shot-stopping ability, I think he probably made about 8 saves today, something like that, without looking at the stats. He was good. He needs to be in the starting lineup against Wolves on Sunday. Do you think Enzo Maresca will do that? I think what we're learning about Enzo Maresca already is that he can be very cutthroat. And by the way, until it goes wrong, I fucking love it. I'm here for it, mate. Listen, it works both ways, doesn't it? Because sometimes you'll have it with players that you think, okay, maybe we could do with being a bit more cutthroat and a little bit less sentimental around. But then sometimes it works against us with players like Trevor Chalobah and Conor Gallagher, Petrovic, who obviously I'm big fans of myself. So, I don't know, but Jorgenson, I hope Enzo Maresca is a little bit cutthroat in that game and starts Jorgenson in that game, because for me, he's the better option already out of Jorgenson and Robert Sanchez. So I also felt like Viega looked very, very good in that inverted left-back role. I say very, very good. He weren't amazing or anything today, but he looked competent, and that's what I'm looking for. And it leaves me with a feeling that between himself and Cucurella, we do have enough cover should Ben Chilwell move on. Now, obviously, I'm gonna drop a match preview probably next for the Wolves match, but there's so much transfer talk to talk about in this last sort of 8 days of the window that we'll cover the Ben Chilwell transfer. We'll cover all of it. But tonight, I've had sparring. I've hurt my neck a little bit, and I just want to get this one done, to be honest. But I am very happy to be speaking with you lovely lot. I love you lot, by the way. You're a bunch of absolute fucking legends, aren't you? I tell you who else is a bit of a legend. Tosin Adarabioyo, because I think he looks so comfortable in the middle of that centre-back sort of trio. Is it a trio? Three? Yeah, trio. Three, isn't it? Yeah. Either way, I thought he looked good there. And I thought he looked like he had good sort of leadership and organisation skills. So I spoke about the fact that when he was signed, I think we'd see a lot more of him than maybe people were anticipating, because the fact he was a free signing and he came from Fulham and whatnot. No disrespect to Fulham. But I think he showed in this game that, mature head, wise head on his shoulders, and I think he's a man that we will rely upon in future. Now, this Chelsea side, right, we can break at immense pace. I think we're really, really good on the counter-attack. When teams come forward and we cut something out through the likes of Caicedo, maybe Lavia, if he's on the field, I think that the pace we've got is ridiculous, and the ability to break is so, so good. However, I will say that the final pass needs to be worked on massively, because I saw it 2 or 3 times tonight where we broke on the opposition If the final pass was weighted a little bit better, judged a little bit better, I think that whoever ended up on the end of that final pass could have had an easier route and a better opportunity to score a goal by just taking it first time. But often the final pass wasn't in front of the player, a little bit behind, which then gives the Servette defenders enough time to get back. And obviously in the likes of Mudryk and Pedro Neto early on in the first half, they did actually manage to get shots off on goal, but I feel like if the ball had been in front of them at times, they would have got a better opportunity to score. And that's something that definitely needs to be worked on. The final pass in the final third needs to be better. Mudryk. Should we speak about him? Because he got pretty much a full 90. Did he get subbed off in the end? I'm not even sure. Took a couple of punches to the head tonight. Don't listen to what I'm saying. Nah, joking. Do subscribe. Mudryk. I don't know. Mixed bag of a performance from Mykhailo Mudryk. He does do some good stuff. But he also does some shit stuff, doesn't he? And I feel like with an attacking player, I am never going to be too harsh on you if you gamble and you take the risks and they don't pay off. But what I want to see is somewhat more of a 90-10 split in terms of it paying off and not paying off. 80-20 I'll be fine with, but with Mudryk is 50-50 and it was on tonight's showing. So I think that Mudryk's quite clearly going to stay at the club, and I do think that some players in those wide positions might be moved on, whether it's justified before Mykhailo Mudryk, you know. Clearly, Raheem Sterling, who's had his shirt number given away, brutal. I'm not laughing, it's just sometimes you have to laugh, don't you? But yeah, so I think Mudryk will stay at the club, but where is he in terms of options for wingers? Because I don't know whether João Felix will play as a winger. I think he might play a little bit more central. And I think you'll see these boys rotate and interchange a lot. But he's not top three, is he? Mudryk is not top three, but I don't know. You lot tell me if I'm wrong. Did you think he was impressive tonight? I think he had glimpses and good moments. But he's been here, 2 seasons now? And that's all I ever say. Oh, he had glimpses. He had good moments. Can you remember a solid full 90 that Mudryk had played and had a really good game? Because I can remember, I was about to say hundreds from Cole Palmer. He hasn't had hundreds of games for us, but we'll run with it. I can remember quite a few that Ronnie Madueke's had, in Kunku, the rest of those boys. Sterling, definitely. I can remember, the game against Man City when he tore Carl Walker to pieces. Away against Burnley, he had last season a great 90 minutes. So, yeah, home against Luton. So, yeah. I don't know. I can't remember a full 90 minutes when Mudryk's consistently had a really, really good game. One man who didn't look all that assured when he was on the ball tonight was Benoit Badiashile, and he struggled a lot in this past year, Badiashile, hasn't he? I don't think he's quite an accident waiting to happen, but at the same time, I do sort of lack a bit of confidence when he's passing out from the back. He does often give it away, and I think that he'd give the ball away a little bit more, especially tonight, if he didn't have a player like Caicedo in there sweeping up and helping him out afterwards. So I think he needs to be better, less of them hospital passes. Neto looked lively. Have I missed out on anyone else? Without going through every single player in the team, I don't think I have. But either way, I think that we've done enough to get over the line. I think it was our quality rather than our specific style of play and patterns of play that got us over the line. And obviously, that's what Enzo Maresca is in charge of sorting out. But listen, Rome, my friend, was not built in a day, okay? And it was built on a bigger budget than $1 billion. So either way, I think we'll be better against Wolves on the weekend. I'm really looking forward to that match against Wolves on the weekend. I will obviously be dropping a preview. I will be dropping a match review. And if you're wondering where the big dog is, Josh Aveste, he's actually on a little holiday at the moment. UK holiday. Won't tell you where in case you end up turning up, knocking at his door when he's trying to have a bit of him time. But I'll be back in the studio with him as well soon. So don't worry, we'll be back. But I like the little setup, how we've got things going. I think I can get stuff out to you a lot quicker now, which is decent. I know you guys want instant reaction after the game, so that's really good. So listen, thanks very much for making it round to the end of another video. Hit the subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the like if you haven't already. And I will see you all in the next one.